So what I wanted you to do is to write down the list of all the top qualities that you want in a woman and all the top qualities you have in a guy. This is something I used to call the dream partner dashboard, okay? And I did it with a guy of mine who's actually the top surgeon in Canada, had the highest marks ever, and he owns a couple methadol clinics, methadol, for helping people get off drugs. I also did this with another buddy of mine who is a top psychologist in Houston, and I went through this with him. This is actually a cognitive behavioral therapy exercise we did. I didn't tell you about it, but it's called ranking values. Because in life, there's things that we want and things we want more, and we gotta be able to differentiate where they make sense. And then, if the person that we want would want us for the qualities that we have. So, you wrote down, number 1, most important, is positive soul connection. Number 2, unconditional love. Number 3, I guess we're missing number 3. Number 4, spiritual. Number 5, sexy. Number 6, nice. Number 7 is, I don't see it. Where's 7? Oh, nurturing? Okay, yeah. My screen is cracked. It's a little hard to see. 7 is nurturing.
Lovely.
Oh, lovely. Okay. I gotta get my screen fixed. 8 is lovely. 9 is good mother. 10 is sensual. 11, you're sophisticated. 12, you wrote down culture. 13, elegant. 14, sociable. 15, you have, I don't see it. Where's 15?
I think it's missing.
What's that?
I think it's missing.
Okay, 15 missing. 16, connected to herself. 17, I think we don't have it. Okay. What do you have? What?
Smart.
Smart. Okay. 17, smart. 18, we have homely. And then 19, refined. Okay. And 20, high status. All right. Do you see any mismatches in this group? What do you see? What are the first things that stand out to you? I can't hear you, dude. Housewife, what?
Housewife, takes care of herself, good positive soul connection, comes from a good background. Yeah.
Unconditional. Yeah. Do you see? So you think those things go together, or they're separate?
Come together.
They come together. Okay. Do you see anything that's completely opposite?
Not really.
Not really. Okay. Okay.
Maybe the high status bit.
Yeah. The high status is probably the opposite of like homely. High status, which is number 20, and homely, which is number 18. So maybe those things cancel each other out. You want somebody who is elegant as 13, but also number 19 is refined. I think those things are closer together than farther apart. You want somebody who is number 3, affluent, and number 6, nice. Some affluent people are nice, some people are not. They don't necessarily go together. It depends, right? You want somebody who has, where's your number 4?
Bottom, spiritual.
Spiritual and affluent. Let's just put those together. Spiritual and affluent. Number 4 is spiritual, and somebody who is affluent financially is number 3. I mean, it's possible, but good luck finding that in the same person. The thing is, the way you've ranked your values are mostly juxtapositions. Half of this list is juxtapositions. It's like when a guy says, I want somebody who is like outgoing, fun, and adventurous, but also stays home and plays video games with me and plays tic-tac-toe, you know? Or a guy says, I want somebody who's very hot and like has big fake body parts and has a Brazilian butt lift, but also wants somebody who like doesn't want attention. So when I look at number 3 and 4, for example, like the affluent plus like the spiritual, it's like that usually doesn't go together. It goes together for a small group of people, but not a lot, you know? When I look at somebody who is a good mother and spiritual, 9 and 10, those go together. When I look at somebody who is 19 refined, but also 18 homely, that doesn't usually go together. Like, I'm a refined individual. I'm elegant. I wear the nicest dresses and I speak, but I stay home, right? It's like the person you're asking to exist is a hard person to exist. I want you to imagine this in 3 circles, right? I've never done this before. This is the first time because I just learned how to turn my thing sideways. Okay, imagine it's 3 circles here, okay? 1 circle here, one circle here, and one circle here, okay? And we're gonna call this circle W for good wife, this circle here, M for good mother, and then what goes in the middle, do you think? What's the other role she has to have? A wife is somebody who's like good to you as a partner, you know, like good to you as a partner. A mother is somebody who's like good to the children. Her first priority is the children. Somebody can be a good wife and not be a good mother. Somebody can be good to the children but be a horrible wife. And then I guess the last part you would say is like L, I call it like a lover, okay? So you're actually asking for these three things in a person. And I'll be very honest with you, very, very honest with you. It's hard for any woman to have all three or any man to have all three. Nobody usually has all three. We're usually lacking in one area. You might know the couple is together for 50 years, but guess what? They're not hooking up in the bedroom. Like after year 10, after the first kid, the bedroom goes down to the garbage. Or somebody who is great with the children, but they never have date night. They haven't been on dates in like many, many weeks, and the husband and the wife are no longer romantic. Or might have somebody who's a good wife, but she's like an alcoholic and she's bad at the kids. You're asking for all three of these to be exactly equal. You're asking for the perfect person, which is very, very hard to find, especially because you're leading with the fact that you're into plastic surgery as a doctor. So you're leading with your money. You're leading with dollar signs. So if you're leading with dollar signs, your position and your status, which likely are you gonna attract?
Probably a lover?
Huh? Maybe a lover. She's gonna be like, yeah, I can get some money. Ding ding, some money. Are you likely to attract a good wife or a good mother? I don't know. I'd say I think they're both equally a little bit hard, because somebody who's a mother who loves unconditionally will not care about your status and money that you make as a plastic surgeon. Somebody who's a good wife, she might be into it, but it's gonna be like a deal. It's gonna be like a dollar sign arrangement. Like, he's got this, he offers me this, so I'm his wife and I stick around because he offers me value. You see? So what you're leading with gets you not what you want. And what you want is all three.
I know that the biggest plastic surgeon in Sydney, him and his wife, it's hot as. You can see like it's fizzled out.
Yeah. And I remember I saw on, not in Sydney, but I remember I saw on Instagram or YouTube lately, this amazing female. She dated a lot of rappers, and she married this plastic surgeon from California, a top guy. They got married in like Las Vegas, but it's like, that's like a deal. It's like, you provide me this lifestyle that's affluent and all these amazing things. I get to be elegant, like how you said on the list. I get to be high status, like you have on the list. But she gets to be a wife and a lover, but it does not mean at all she's gonna be a good mother. And there's no indication by her dating rappers that she would have been a good mother or a bad mother. We just don't know. So you're trying to combine the wife, lover, mother thing all to equal parts. And this person may or may not exist, but the way you're leading and going about it is equally hard. Now, I'm gonna screenshot that for you and send it to you. It's really messy, but I'll send it to you in the chat. Here's the other part. We gotta ask ourselves if the person that you want would also be interested in you, straight up. So you listed about 20 things in yourself. You said a lot of things. I'm determined, focused, I'm smart, I'm hardworking, I'm a champion mindset, I'm driven, I'm spiritual, I'm kind, resourceful, good father. I don't know if we know that yet, but if you do, okay, great. Fast learner, keen learner, clean, disciplined, streamlined, professional, motivated, reliable, intimate, good lover, deep, romantic, sincere. These are all internal qualities. You listed it, out of this list of 20, 16 of them are like internal qualities. So, which one are you gonna attract?
The wife and the mother?
You might attract if you lead with financial stuff, you'll attract the wife. If you lead by these qualities, you'll attract somebody who's a good mother, because they're looking for these qualities. But still, none of the things you listed at all here had to do with high status, had to do with affluent, had to do with a woman who's elegant, has to do with the woman who wants the best, has to do with the woman who wants a particular lifestyle. What I'm saying is, the marketing you're putting out and the fish you're trying to catch doesn't match what you're gonna get at all. You're essentially like, it's like a mismatch, you know? And I want you to clearly write it down and to see how what you want and what you're trying to get doesn't add up. It's like this. Is it possible to find it? Very unlikely. Very unlikely. Either you change what's important to you and you change what you're looking for, what's important to you, or you look for a different type of woman. You know, I think of like in your background, I don't know if it's your background or if it's if it's more of like a Pakistani thing or an Indian thing or a Hindu thing. But I think of like arranged marriages, for example. Those were just mother and wife. They had nothing to do with love. Nothing to do with love. It was just like mother, wife. And they erased that love thing and it worked out. But now, in this modern day and age, we all want all three of them, and it's very hard for anybody to be all three. Look at like Gazelle, the model, and also
Tom Brady.
Tom Brady, right? Like she just got divorced from him. She filed for divorce because he's like, I want another Super Bowl. So maybe he was a great like provider but maybe he was like a shitty lover. Like he didn't give her love and attention as a husband, and maybe he provided a certain lifestyle to her. They were like, we're the power couple, but their actual like romantic partnership was not there. You can't have it all. This is the lie of society, is that you can have it all, but you can't. There's with every level there's a new sacrifice. They would say with every level there's a new devil. So with every level there's a new sacrifice. And if you take one, you got to be willing to like say the other one isn't as important to you. Problem is you want all of them, and then your offering is very, very select what you're offering. So if you say to me, hey, I'm a plastic surgeon, and look, I don't care if my wife loves me or not. I just wanted to stick by me and just do the job, just play the position, play the role, maybe be a trophy wife, make me look good. Maybe she's just like, I don't know, does what I tell her to do, then great. But if you're like, I want her to have all these spiritual qualities as well, and be affluent, and also be a good mother, I'm like, well, I don't know. And then a woman who wants, let's say a woman that is like that, what does she want? Like, you know, like I can just imagine. I bet if I were to ask you, we wouldn't know exactly what she wants, because she'd be such a complex creature. It'd be hard to say. On your list of who you are, you listed about 20 qualities. 16 of them were internal, and 4 of them were external. 4 or 5 of them were external. So I understand you were trying to not mention your job and your status and what you do, but a lot of what you mentioned is, in the woman, is her elegance, her ability to handle herself socially, how wasn't the word of elegant we used? I think it was like how like debonair she was, how sophisticated she was, how culturally savvy she was, and all these things. And a person who has those things, what kind of life have they lived to even get there? You know? Like if you want a woman, let's say for example, if you want a woman who's affluent, it's just a thought experiment. If you want a woman who's affluent, how does she become affluent? Did she become affluent through her family, working very hard? Or did her family worked hard, she just was a rich kid? Or did she become affluent from working very hard in her life? And if she has worked very hard in her life, and she is career oriented, that means she's probably not mother oriented. Because maybe she's 32, 33, 34. Maybe she's a physiotherapist, a lawyer. She's a criminal lawyer, international law. She works for the United Nations. She's probably not very, or just generalizing, she's probably not very motherly minded. And because she worked in law for so long, she's probably not very spiritually minded, right? So where does that leave us?
I mean, yeah. My last girlfriend was like Instagram model, affluent, you know, like, anyway. But she would have made like a pretty crap love. She's actually a really good lover, but yeah, I don't know.
She was not a good lover, but she was
She's actually a great lover, affluent, yeah.
What was the problem? Why didn't it work?
She wasn't willing to work on her stuff. Like,
she was not willing to work on herself.
Yeah. Problems would come up, blame.
Right. Yeah. Did she make the money, or was she born into money?
Parents made the money.
Okay. Yeah. So people who are born into money, but parents made it, they're used to a certain level of style. They're used to Louis Vuittons and
she would
Dior.
have wanted me for the money I would make in the future as well.
What's that?
She'd want me for all my money that I'd made as well.
Okay, she wants you new money. What you have is what I have. What I have is what I have. So she wants your money.
Yeah.
But so why would she work on herself if her ride up until now has kind of been like coasting based on the success of others? You would be lacking that.
I went on a date 2 months ago with a girl, and she only wanted me for just the money.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, man. I know guys that are beyond wealthy that are clients that I work with, and they have this exact same challenge. But
it's like a paradigm. It's like,
what's the paradigm?
Well, you want these things in life, right?
Right.
Yeah.
You want to see, as a guy, if you want these things in life, you can kind of build yourself to become that. You know, this is a great thing about men. It's like you can say, I don't want to be that person anymore. I've lived that chapter. I want to build myself to be that. But for women, it's like when they built themselves to be that way, it's very hard for them to change because they have a biological instinct of motherhood that's either going to be there or not, and it's met or not. Like you might have a woman that's worked on her career. She's now 37. She's head of her lawyer firm. But it's like, you're 32. Do you want to marry a woman who's 37? And that means you have like a few years to have kids quickly and be rushed into it. And like, I don't know. I can imagine, since sexy is one of the things you wanted, and like youthfulness and energy and all this stuff, it's like, maybe she's younger, but then again, she wants somebody who's cultured. People who are cultured are usually older. So it's like, what's the age group? What's the culture background? Did she make it on her own? Is she a student? Is she in school? Is she not? It's like, what we want very often doesn't line up to either what we offer or what we want doesn't line up to what we're willing to settle for. It's like when I first started, I had a list of 20 things, just like you had, maybe even more. It was a huge list. And I could say at this point in my life, after like 10 years of being a professional in this industry and 15 years as a hobby, I literally just want 5 things. I've narrowed it down to 5. So I've realized without those 5 things, the rest don't matter. I used to say I wanted somebody who was like a successful CEO, like boss chick, who like built her own company, was ambitious, and she like, all these things. Then I realized it didn't matter if she wasn't willing to do the work in the relationship. Like how you said, you dated somebody who wasn't willing to work on themselves. I dated people who were just amazing, incredible, top level people, but they were unwilling to do the work in the relationship to make it. They were unwilling to fly out and see me, or unwilling to say they're sorry, or unwilling to resolve an argument, or unwilling to learn a skill in a relationship,
I think the funny thing is, like, the last 2 girlfriends I've had, right?
Yeah.
The first one, I made a list of 5 things. I said, I can't remember what it was, but like 5 years younger, lawyer, rich, model, and that, and she appeared, right?
Yeah.
But then she's missing the internal quality.
Right.
And then I made another list. I was like, okay, all these things, and she appeared, but then she's missing all these other qualities.
Yeah. They're never gonna have it all. Like, my recommendation to you, this is gonna sound really pretty messed up, but my recommendation to you is if your qualities that you're offering and qualities that you want so much are internal, I don't think you can go with this affluent part. Because when you want a girl who's affluent and she's like top level and she's used to a certain level of lifestyle, she's probably not going to have done the internal work to have achieved those internal qualities you're looking for, But if you are the affluent breadwinner provider in the relationship, that gives her the chance to develop the qualities to be a good mother already, or maybe she is, or the qualities, the time to be spiritual, or the time to be loving and forgiving and humble, right? But if you wanted to be on a certain economic status, and she didn't earn that economic status in her life, then the person you're going to get is kind of going to be a mystery. So I just wanted you to think about that. It's like there is no one answer to that. The answer is, as you become a mature man, you start to sacrifice. You might see like these guys that are 45 years old, 50 years old, right, or even 40 years old, and they end up going to another country like Thailand, or they go to South America, or they go to, I don't know, some other place in Europe. And it's when people will say, oh, they're just settling because these women make less money than them. It's not only that. Some of them are settling, yes, but they're settling because they decided that they will take care of the financial part of the relationship, and they just want to have somebody who has feminine, nurturing, motherly, humble, unentitled, non-high maintenance qualities. They've reached that point in their life, and so they look for those people there, right? And it's a trade-off. It's a trade-off. Like, you have to ask yourself in that list, what would you be willing to trade? What is, if you had to get rid of 1/3 of the list, half of it, what would you get rid of and still be happy with?
Probably the external stuff.
Okay. So if you want to get rid of the external stuff, you got to completely change your approach. It's all about external right now. So you're fucked. In a nice way, in a nicely said way, you're fucked. Like Martin's not here, he left a moment ago. Sam's not here, he left a moment ago. These guys are with you 3 days, but if you ask them, hey, what's his hobbies? They'll say, I don't know. They're like, what's his favorite color? They'll be like, I don't know. They'll be like, how many brothers and sisters does he have? They say, I don't know. Because the only thing you've mentioned is your status, your status, your status, your status, your status. That's what you're leading with. And so,
I mean, I like hiking, swimming, comedies.
These guys don't know.
Yeah.
That's not what you lead with. You're telling me now because we're talking about it, but no one else knows.
Yeah. And I thought about it yesterday and the day before.
Yeah. Speaking of Sam.
Hey brother, how are you?
Yeah. So yeah, whatever you're leading with, that's what you're most likely going to get. So if you're leading with that stuff that's like external qualities, you're going to get those girls who are just into external things. That's the point. That's what I'm telling you. Social skills are important. The art of conversation is important. The art of being polarized is important. The art of flirting is important. The art of being able to lead is important. The art of being able to have standards and boundaries is important. The art of being able to all that stuff that we learn through game is important, because you got to use that to get into position, capitalize on it once you get there. Yeah. So what are you gonna do, bro? Now that I laid that big bomb on you, it's a good bomb to know, because I wanted you to go through this with me, because as a guy who's went through this with many people like yourself, top level people, and people who have wanted the same things, I've seen people go through a lot through the end. I've been invited to many weddings of guys that I've gotten hooked up. A lot of my clients get married or get weddings, and they tell me, oh, this was a major part in that process of thinking changing for them. So now that I've told you this, where's your head at?
I mean, the game plan is for me to become the best, then see what comes in, pick from that. Might have to cut the list in half, remove A lot of the external stuff. Yeah.
You gotta, I mean, yes, become the best you can, but reevaluate your whole game plan. And that's why I was pushing so hard on Bootcamp too. It's like I want you to reevaluate that game plan because I know that game plan is very, very flawed. It's very, very flawed. So for example, Sam moved to the Gold Coast, right? Like the beautiful people, beautiful bodies. But guess what? They date mostly the drug dealers up there. They date the bad boys up there. They date the scammers from credit cards up there. So it's like, great, you're around the hottest women that value physical items, that are high status and all that, but they don't have the internal qualities. So you gotta like pick and choose, you know? You gotta pick and choose, right? Especially when you narrow it down by race too. You're like, you mostly want Indian or brown. It's like you gotta pick and choose. I think a great example of these women would be like Amal Clooney, who's like George Clooney's wife. She's like a defense lawyer internationally for the United Nations, and like she's beautiful. She has children. They give him children and whatever. It's like if he was like, I just want only an Asian woman, he like maybe it wouldn't happen. Like he automatically like shrink your opportunity down by like 80% when you're specific to the race as well, and you're very specific to what you want. Now if you say I just want to date a lot of and just get experience with that, okay, cool. Then you're gonna find women that maybe aren't as developed, but are not as developed, but they're very physically attractive, or you will find who are super developed, but their internals are like their physical is like not that hot. But you can't have it all. This is the greatest lie in the world, that you can always have it all, and I think you can't have it all. And all the celebrity breakups throughout this year are showing that to us. What's that?
Someone who's internally well developed is probably my fit.
Okay, that's your priority. That would be your priority, is what you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. And don't expect them to be in the same financial position you are in. Maybe they're just a student. Maybe they're only a student. And maybe they, throughout time, established men have been dating down. You understand that? Like guys will meet a girl, she's like works at a coffee shop, we're like whatever. She's like ready, she's not like traumatized, we'll go pick her. She works at a coffee shop, we'll pick her. Throughout history, men have been doing that. All history, high status men have been doing that, been dating down. But women who are up on that level seldomly date down, and they seldomly have all the pieces that we want to have together. The wife part, plus the mother part, plus the lover part. They very rarely have those three things together. Women on that level. And so the men, as what we do is we date down to find women that have at least the majority of those things. It's like if you want a big freak, you want a freak that's a great lover, you go to a strip club. But guess what? She's a shitty mother. You want somebody who's a great wife, you go to church, you go to mosque. She's a great wife, but she's probably a virgin, and who knows how she's going to be in the bedroom, if that's important to you, and she'll probably be okay with the kids. You want somebody who's great with kids, you go date a school teacher or a nurse, because she's empathetic, she's loving, she's giving, she's around, she's giving all day. Who knows how she's going to be as a trophy wife, and affluent, and cultured, and like be able to represent you well at high class events. It's like pick your battles, yeah? You know, for me, dating has gotten harder. It hasn't gotten easier, it's gotten harder. The more listen, bro, I'm gonna explain this to you, and it's not gonna make sense to you. I've traveled around the world 42 times. That's enough to go to the moon, to the back, and then back to the moon again, in terms of mileage. I've been to 135 cities. No one even understands the fact, like, that if I say, oh, I was in this city that week and that city that week, I've done everything from, every hobby from being a vigilante to preparing to be a Navy SEAL to starting several businesses. I've done other crazy shit like, I don't know, dated the girl who's climbed Mount Everest, to dated a daughter of a spiritual guru, dated the Playboy models, and guess what? Dating has gotten harder for me the more experience I've got, because I can't find anybody on my level as a female that could be a partner that has all those developed qualities. And even myself, to go and do those things, I had to make sacrifices. I couldn't have a dog for 7 years. I love dogs. I'm a certified dog handler. I haven't had a dog in 7 years. I can't have a dog if I'm going to 135 cities. What about my long-term relationships? People are like, Madison, why don't you have a girlfriend? I have a girlfriend every once in a while, but it would be a long-distance relationship, non-stop. So I had to give that up. What about when my family I have an aunt or an uncle that passed away during COVID and I couldn't be there. I had another uncle that died when I was in Helsinki, another country. So my family relationships and friendships suffer. You can't have it all, bro. There's always a sacrifice to be made. If you're working crazy hours and you're making tons of money, your health is gonna sacrifice. You're not eating well, you're not going to the gym, or your social life sacrifices. There's no, if you're gonna have a girl who wants to have a lot of kids, guess what? That's 6 months of the year you're not having sex. It's like, you can't have it all, bro. And so you gotta like, your priorities are ranked where everything is equally valuable in those priorities. You said mother qualities, lover qualities, and wife qualities. They're all equal. You can't have them all equal. It's got to be like one is more important than the other. And so even within our lives was a sacrifice. And then so for what you have to offer will be a sacrifice as well. Because you're not going to be able to offer all the things that you would like to offer that woman. I don't know if what I'm saying to you makes sense. I feel like an old man, like in my rocking chair at 80 years old, being like, this is what I learned.
No, it makes sense.
I'm trying to give you a glimpse at the end of the road to bring it all back to like social skills and social circle. And these events you are going to. He has 2 events he wants to go to next week that are like going to be filled with like Indian women. And I'm like, you still need to work on these skills of self-expression and flirting and everything. Because even if you go to these events and you lead with your status, you're going to get the wrong fucking woman that you want. If you go to the event, you go, hey, everybody, I'm the host of the event. Look at my status, da 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 da. You're not going to get the woman who goes, ooh, I'd like to be a great mother for him and like also work equally as hard as him. She's like, yeah, this guy has status. Give me my Louis Vuittons. Where's my Dior? Where's my Coach? My Louis. It's gonna be the wrong type of woman who hasn't done the work. So all I gotta say about that, and I'm sorry for my shitty drawing, but hopefully it makes sense, those 3 circles, and how they bleed into each other. I would say if you want somebody, I would say who has those qualities, either route A, I don't know if it would be considered Hindi or Muslim, but you go completely the arranged marriage route, and you say, fuck your love life. That's option A. You know it's gonna be a marriage that lasts 50 years because ain't no divorce. Option 2 is to keep your mind open to many different cultures and you find a woman who's around the age of 27. But if she's 27, what's her financial situation gonna be like?
Steady?
It's gonna be rocky, bro. It's not even like this. It's gonna be like less than this. If she's 27, she just got out of school and she just took on $150,000 school debt for her degree, whatever degree it is. And if she's a lawyer or a doctor, it's gonna mean she's gonna have no time for that relationship. So I'd say even lower that level. And go for somebody who's like 27 and who's like, hopefully not a degree like arts, but she's 27 and she has a degree in like, I don't know, literature or a degree in like education, you know, something like that. And then she'll have more of those qualities that you want. But this thing you're looking for, this finished product that you're looking for, also probably isn't available because some guy would have scooped her up already.
Yeah,
the competition for the finished product so high, I would be like, bro, well this, get into the gym, take steroids, get jacked. The competition for that finished product woman is so high. Because this guy, do you have a boat? There you go, there's fucking guys on the boats right now that got that girl on there. How are you gonna compete with that level? How are you gonna compete with that level if you don't make eye contact for 2 minutes? How are you gonna compete with that level if you don't physically and verbally flirt? It's not gonna happen. So either you get jacked on steroids, become that guy that flirts and get the boat, and that also includes working on your social skills, or you do one of the other 2 options that I mentioned. These are your best. I sound very fatalistic, very end of the world, but I'm trying to be realistic with you here.
It's all true.
I mean, to be honest, if I was looking for a wife, the words Instagram model would be a red flag.
But she's like at home, like it's all like for show.
If I Instagram model, affluent family, wife, mother, red flag. She's putting the baby up on Instagram, breastfeeding on Instagram for attention. I'm like, hell no. It's like that's at my level, I would say that. At your level, it might be okay for you, but at my level, I'd be like, that's a huge red flag. It'd be automatic no.
How would you like to be able to drop into a city anywhere in the world and start a brand new social life and meet people instantly on the spot? How would you like to go into a place you've never been to, a new venue, and meet somebody for a romantic adventure, leave with them that night? Maybe they become a relationship in the future, maybe even the future father or mother of your children, and you start that legacy from that one interaction. How would you like to go into an event, meet somebody, network with them, and leave with a new business opportunity? All this is possible with the right social skills in your pocket. And I'm outside of one of the best day clubs in the world with my friends, having great times, meeting new people, having experiences, adventures. And that's the benefit of having a social circle. But this social circle wouldn't be possible unless I worked on my social skills. Having the ability to go up to anybody in real time and make a conversation with them, make a long-lasting first impression when I just meet somebody. Also, it's allowed me to travel anywhere in the world and never feel alone. I have amazingly deep connections with people for relationships, emails that I never would have met otherwise. It has expanded my life in ways that I can't even imagine, and I wouldn't be here today unless I developed that skill.
The most important thing you can do as a new guy, okay, is the 2 steps. I call my whole system in. Into the environment, into my body, and then into my mind. Most guys make the mistake of trying to work from their mind first. They're stuck in their head, have this internal battle, this war going on in their minds about should I approach, should I not approach? I'll think of the right thing to say. I'll be able to observe the right moment. They get so pumped up on their intelligence. They're like, I'm so smart, I'm gonna figure it out. If I go out assuming that I'm gonna be in state or I'm gonna rise to the occasion when it happens, I'm lying to myself, I'm tricking myself. Engage fully, put it all out there. Let it, if it fails, fuck it, who gives a fuck? The idea is you just wanna learn to engage with the world. Make it fun for yourself. Make socializing fun for yourself. Your body is a tool to unlock your mind, okay? So literally, guys will try to control their emotions. She likes it. Literally, guys will try to control their emotions just using their mind. But your body is your biggest limit, your biggest barrier. I want to prime my body and my physiology to be how I want it to be.
Now, these skills that I developed didn't just come from my brain. They came from hardcore experience of going out for 15 years in real time and testing things over and over again and seeing what worked and developing it as a science. I didn't come up with theories. I tested what was effective live in the field. And then I went around the world and I taught this on 720 live programs to people. And I saw their results and I got all the information from all around the world.
It'll be harder at first because you're not using your words, but eventually, when you bring your words back into it after 20 minutes, your results are gonna skyrocket.
So what I'm teaching and talking about, it is the light, it is the direction that you need to go in order to have a great social life. And these skills can be transferred onto you on something called a bootcamp program, where I take you out for 3 days live in experiences, and I'm there with you in real time, showing you what to do. I'm actually demonstrating it for you. I bring you up to my level, and then I do it along with you and set you free to fly. It's the most beautiful thing you've ever experienced. So if you want to know more about this, what I highly recommend you do is just get information, get clarity. See if you are the right fit and if bootcamp is the right thing for you. There's a link down below. Click it. It's a brief application. Talk to me and my guides about it, me and my team. They're hilarious guys. I'm not going to go too deep and make you feel uncomfortable and put pressure on you. And in doing that, you're going to see if this is the right thing you want to take action on, okay? There's a link down below. Click the link. Fill out the application. It takes 30 seconds. And I'd love to talk to you soon and see you in the future and be a part of your progress to the new, best version of yourself that you know is deep inside. Let's get you started.